Welcome, everybody, to the Jim Acosta Show. It is Thursday. That is Olivia Troye wearing a taco hat. Gosh, I can't imagine why you would do something like that. It's a
No idea.
lovely taco.
Thank you. Thank you. I love tacos.
I love, and what you're wearing is kind of one of my favorite tacos. I have to say that I'm a bit of a hard shell. Like I'm like a little kid when it comes to taco taste. I mean, yes, if you take me to a fancy Mexican restaurant, I'll order the fancy Mexican food. But there's a part of me that loves the hard shell taco like we had when we were kids with the ground beef and all the junk on top. Like
Me
that to me
too.
is the best.
I'm like totally into the shredded cheese on it too. It's my favorite thing.
I do. I love that. The shredded cheese adds sort of like, I don't know, it almost looks like Trump's hair a little bit with the shredded cheese there. It's orange.
Right. The
It
orange.
it's disheveled. Yeah.
My mother calls it pelos de elote, which
Ooh,
is corn hair. That's what she calls it.
corn hair.
Mm.
I love it.
That's what she calls it.
I love it. Well, I
So
mean, it's Thursday. Maybe we should call it Taco Thursday. Who says tacos should only come on Tuesdays? And Trump seems to want tacos every day, and a federal appeals court is going to let him, at least for now. And of course, for those coming back from a cave and wondering why Jim and Olivia are talking about tacos and why Olivia is wearing a taco on her head, just to get everybody up to speed, traders on Wall Street have an expression for how to trade stocks these days. It is Trump always chickens out, TACO, meaning he will slap tariffs on countries before backing down. So buy the dip is basically what they're saying, or perhaps you would call it guacamole and reap the rewards when he lowers the tariffs and the stocks then go back up. And as I was saying a few moments ago, it seems Trump wants to continue to chicken out. A federal appeals court is allowing Trump's tariffs to stay in place after issuing a stay of a U.S. court ruling yesterday that blocked several of Trump's tariffs from going into effect. The New York Times reporting that one day after the court did this, he and his top aides were rushing to resuscitate the tariff agenda all day long today, which I guess resulted in this federal appeals court ruling. Olivia, your thoughts on all of this? With a taco on your head. And the
I
memes
feel
have
like
been
they're not
outstanding,
taking me
by the way.
seriously.
This is serious analysis here.
Yes. I think, man, this has got to be making him really mad.
He's got to be pissed.
Oh, he is furious. I mean, there's
Yeah,
ketchup flying all over the place in the White House right now. I mean, that's just
yeah.
got to be really. And you know who else
Or
is probably
Cholula for
disturbing?
that matter. But anyway, I'm
Cholula.
sorry.
Cholula. Uh, but I bet you Stephen Miller's pissed too. You know, the
Stephen
taco
Miller is probably
reference.
very pissed today.
Yeah, all the taco
Yeah.
jokes. Too much Mexican stuff. Too much. Yeah, I was thinking about that as
Muy
well.
caliente. Yeah.
Yeah, he might be upset for other reasons, but we won't get into that. Um,
Might be. Might be.
Might be. We'll see. Um, God, I need the popcorn for that if it plays out. Anyways,
Yeah.
y'all can dig
Yeah.
into that on your own. We're not going to get into it.
Yeah. But
Um,
they're pissed about the tacos. There's no question
they
about
are.
it.
They certainly are. And I think it's also embarrassing for Trump because, to have this be the talk of his business peers and this is what's circulating around and he's always wanted to fit in. And that's the first thing that I thought of. I mean, here he is, he's the president of the United States and people aren't taking him seriously in what is supposed to be his strength, I say in quotes, which is business. And
Yeah.
they claim they have this strategy, right, on the tariffs, and that's what they've said all along that we'll reap the benefits. You'll see it. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Well, now here we are, and now we've
Yeah.
got
Well,
tacos floating around.
no, and I love that you brought up the faux strength of him being good at business because it's always been a faux strength. It's always been bullshit, a bullshit taco, if you will. And what is being revealed once again, because as others have said, we are the United States of amnesia. People forgot that he wasn't very good at business the first time around, and so we're relearning these lessons the second time around. But it's amazing. It's sort of like Jurassic Park. Nature finds a way. When the traders on Wall Street within a couple of days have figured out, okay, here's how to trade stocks when Donald Trump is in the White House
Yeah.
and it's Trump always chickens out. Man, when he was asked about that in the Oval,
Oh, he was pissed.
what'd you think of that response? I mean, his response to that reporter from CNBC, which by the way, a tip of the taco hat to the CNBC reporter. Yes, thank you so much. Extra tacos for her. However she wants them, chicken, shrimp, fish tacos, you name it. No, but the way he responded to that, it was almost nonsensical. I mean, his comment was just all over the place, and it clearly pissed him off.
I think it was rage. It's all, and it's also, it was so evident. You could almost see the anger stewing in him. Like, I can only
Yeah,
imagine the conversations right afterwards that took place, having been in the room sometimes for that. He is sitting there going, like, how are we going to get back at that person for this? I
for
mean,
sure.
that's where his rage is focused on right now. It's not the fact that they're only asking a fair question, because this
Yeah.
is very
That was a
legitimate.
nasty
They're doing the job.
question. You should not have asked that question. Was all that stuff. And what makes me feel good when I see these things, Olivia, when these things play out is okay, now if people are seeing more and more that I wasn't just being the fly in the ointment, the skunk at the garden party. If you just go in there and ask basic questions, he's going to get pissed. Megan Cassell at CNBC, that's her name. He's just going to get pissed.
Yeah, well, you were just pointing out hard facts and asking questions that we want answers to, that the American public should know. That's basically what it is. But again,
Yeah.
it's evident of he one cannot handle what is happening here, and it's also evident of the chaos and in the ineptitude that we have here at the leadership of our country. And his response says it all, I think. I mean, but look, if it gives us a moment of levity, I'll say, not what's happening in the real world in terms of our economy,
Yeah.
but the fact that there are so many tacos floating around, and it brings me great joy because I love tacos.
It's true.
Here we are.
The taco memes are outstanding. I mean, you could just spend like a good hour for folks again who just got off a plane and they're wondering what the hell they're on an overnight flight from Timbuktu and they're wondering what the hell is going on with all the tacos. Just please go on the socials. It'll be immediately evident to you as to what is going on. And and the chicken memes are good too. But I mean, the thing is that, and people are saying, let's go taco. I love that one because it's sort of like a play on let's go Brandon. But I mean, the other thing we have to talk about this is that it cuts to the core of who Trump is and how his word means nothing. It means squat on the global stage. Like when he goes and says, "Oh, I'm pissed off at Vladimir Putin." Nobody believes that. Nobody believes
Oh,
that, or nobody thinks that's going to get him anywhere. I don't think the
yeah.
Kremlin believes it. I don't think Putin believes it. I think they think the whole thing's a joke.
I think they own the entire situation. Actually,
Yeah,
and it's interesting that you bring that up, because I thought about that in relation to this whole taco situation. I was thinking, like, it's not just the taco on tariffs. It's more on it's the taco about conflicts around the world
yeah,
too, right? I mean, I think it's actually applicable to other scenarios. It's applicable to what's happening with Russia, Ukraine. Like, he's basically getting owned in this situation.
yeah.
And you saw the Russian bots, the Russian media are all mocking him for his recent statements, and now he's become the butt of the joke.
I mean, just globally. I mean, with our allies in Europe, I mean, overseas, it's unreal. And for folks who are just tuning in right now, I mean, we just have to do a shameless plug right now. Olivia, who I guess will now have to bring that taco hat to the Lincoln Theater on Monday. We're going to have to do this live. I tell you, we are going to have a live town hall at the Lincoln Theater, Monday, June the 2nd. Olivia will be there. Michael Fanone is going to be there. Harry Dunn is going to be there. Tara Setmeyer is going to be there. As I was announcing yesterday, Miles Taylor, the Trump administration whistleblower, is going to be there. He's going to be fighting back here in the coming days against what the Trump administration has been doing to him. Trump, of course, issued that executive order saying the DOJ should go after Miles Taylor. Just a total crock. And Miles is going to speak out on that. And Aaron Parnas is going to join us as well. There is one other guest who I have not revealed yet. It's a very exciting guest. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to wait until I bring Mike into the discussion here in just a little bit. But
Ray Dunn's tuned in too, by the way. He
and
just
Dunn is tuned in too.
I
I think I
somehow
can
caught
only
that.
do. Can I only do two at a time? So maybe
I don't
I
know.
won't hold you up all day, and maybe we'll bring in Harry towards the end or something like that. I'm sure. But see, I don't know. Does Harry have a taco hat? That's the question.
To
You
be fair, well, I don't know. Doesn't every
you
Mexican family have a taco
I
hat?
mean,
No.
you have raised the ante here. I love this. The other thing we need to talk about very quickly, though, is Elon Musk is, the AP reporting Elon Musk is leaving his government role as a top advisor to Donald Trump after spearheading efforts to blah 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 with Doge. The other thing that we need to get into is Elon Musk, as he is leaving the government, as he is leaving the Trump administration, which we never found out. Did he work for the government? Was he? Apparently, he was a special government employee, whatever the hell that means. Apparently, he was a car salesman working at the White House. But anyway, on his way out, criticized the big, beautiful bill and said,
Yeah.
oh gosh, it looks like it's going to raise the deficit and all of this. And I just didn't, if I had known that about Donald Trump, my goodness, maybe I wouldn't have gone whole hog. I mean, the whole thing is bananas and just full of shit. But Caroline Levitt was asked about this earlier today. She completely dodged the question. First, was asked about it, completely dodged the question. Caroline Levitt was asked about it, completely dodged the question. She said the president is very proud of the one big, beautiful bill, and he wants to see it. He wants the Senate to get to work on it and send it to his desk as quickly as possible. Of course, as you know, Elon Musk announced last night his departure as an official special government employee. We thank him for his service, which is basically, gee, thanks for shitting on the rug on your way out.
Yeah, I think they were not exactly impressed with the fact that he said that out loud, especially because, he's been instrumental. He was a big figure on the campaign. He was out there recruiting all the young tech bros. Like, I mean, he's been a figure from day one in this circle. And
Yeah,
now you have him parting ways. And I feel like that was a parting shot, right? I mean, the fact that he,
totally.
I mean, he
And
was
let's
very
let's
clear about it.
and let's analyze that for just a moment, Olivia, because to me, it says to me that Elon Musk probably has a crisis counselor PR firm. One of those, when you're in crisis, you hire these PR firms, and they try to get you out of a huge jam, whatever jam you've gotten yourself into. And perhaps they have recommended, or he has surmised that maybe he has to crap on Trump a little bit to somehow rescue his company. Because Tesla is in dire straits right now. I mean, they've really been put through the meat grinder because of Elon Musk's unpopularity. You go around Washington these days and you see a Tesla driving around. It usually has a bumper sticker on it that says "F Elon." I bought this before Elon went crazy. I mean, he has completely damaged that brand. And one has to think that he did this. He said this on the way out because he feels like maybe this is the only way to resuscitate the brand. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's sort of in recovery mode now. I mean, I don't know how you go into this situation, especially in Trump 2.0, without realizing that you're going to end up in a poor and bad situation because that's what happens when you
That's
enter
what
Trump's
happens.
orbit. I mean, I don't, how many times do we have to learn this lesson? But I mean,
I
so
know Rick
now,
Wilson has said everything Trump touches dies.
yes.
Yeah.
And I think, no amount of money gets you out of that. And I think, he's seen that. And so now we have this guy who I think, I wrote about this today and I was like, okay, great. He got access to the data that he wanted. He got, I guess, got whatever he needed to get done for his
Yep.
own personal purposes. His brand is significantly damaged. He's got to figure out how he's going to dig out of that one. And then I've been looking at the past couple months and I'm thinking they were sort of trying to figure out how they were going to navigate him. Right,
Yes.
because I mean, recently Steve Bannon was out there kind of taking shots at him. I mean, to me, it was like they were even the Trump team was trying to figure out their PR campaign
Yeah.
of when this separation happened and how they're going to actually explain to MAGA what happened with the Musk factor, right? And I
Yeah.
think it's kind of fascinating to watch. But for Elon, this is costing him a lot of money.
Yeah. I mean, so much for Big Balls. Big Balls has left the building, and apparently he may have. This is a news alert that just came in from the Hill. The three top officials at the Department of Government Efficiency are set to leave their roles as tech billionaire Elon Musk exit. This is a piece in the Hill right now. A White House official confirms to the Hill. Oh, you're going to like this. A White House official confirmed to the Hill that advisors Steve Davis, advisor and spokesperson Katie Miller, and lawyer James Burnham are also departing Doge.
Huh.
That is, uh, and we should note that Katie Miller is the wife of Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller. So interesting that she's leaving with Elon Musk.
So who's she going to go monitor next?
I don't know.
That's sort of that's kind of always been Katie Miller's role, right? I mean, she was on Pence's staff when I was there. When she showed up, I
Yeah.
was like, great, the Grim Reaper has joined the staff now. Here we are.
Yep.
And she was there. I mean, we all knew it. She was there to watch, keep an eye
Yeah.
on us. And that's what
N-
she did. And so I just wonder who's the next victim? Maybe in
I,
more ways than one, but who knows?
I know. I know. It is fascinating. But I mean, the whole Doge thing has just been a total fiasco. I mean, honestly, I mean, the way, and we're going to talk about this at the town hall coming up on Monday, June the 2nd at the Lincoln Theater here in Washington, D.C., because we're going to hear from a lot of federal workers. I've been in touch with the folks over at the Federal Government Employees Union. Many of those employees are going to be there. Liz Oyer, who was kicked out of her job out of the Department of Justice, is going to be there. There are going to be lots of government employees there talking about what they've been going through. And what Elon Musk and the Doge people did was just absolutely sick and sadistic. Should not happen. Okay, sure. You want to trim government waste? Fine. Every president wants to do that. That's not a huge deal. That's not a scandal. The way they did it, closing entire agencies, just being gross about it, saying you've been here for 30 years, you have 15 minutes to clean out your desk. It's just nasty. It's just nasty, mean, sick stuff. And I'm sorry, but there's some comeuppance here for Elon Musk. He's getting a cyber truck full of humble pie, tonight. It seems to
Yeah.
me.
And I think he deserves it.
Yeah,
I don't really tend to wish ill on people, but he has caused a lot of hurt and harm
yeah.
to
Waving the
the public at large.
chainsaw. Remember, he was waving the
Oh
chainsaw.
yeah.
All those things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not only was he classless, I mean, what he did, I believe we'll be looking at the damage of what they've done for years. I
yeah,
mean, it's going to take us a long time to come back from this.
yeah. Well, Olivia, let's bring in Mike Fanone, and then I won't hold on to you for too long here, but the three of us should talk. And then if Harry's still standing by, maybe we'll bring in Harry as well. But Mike, let's bring in Mike. Maybe Mike has some thoughts on Elon Musk and big balls and all these people leaving the government.
Yeah. I asked if
Um,
there was going to be a plaque.
yeah, I mean,
Department of
honest,
Treasury. Is there a big balls plaque going on there now?
let's hope not. I don't want to know what that looks like. Hey, there's Mike. Hey, Michael Fanone, America's sweetheart. How are you? Good to see you, my man.
I'm good. Olivia, what the fuck are you wearing?
Waiting for that. What do you think of my taco?
What is is today's Thursday, right? It's
It's
now
Taco
Taco Tuesday.
Thursday. Okay, I don't know if you heard about this, Mike, but apparently the traders on Wall Street have this term called taco. It means Trump always chickens out. And it's in regard to the tariffs because the traders on Wall Street are like, what do we do? How do we trade stocks with this crazy ass tariff policy? And so they wait for Trump to declare that he's going to raise tariffs. Then they sell their stocks. And then after that, they wait for him to back down, thinking, okay, we're going to buy our stocks now because he's doing these tariffs. And then after he backs down, they make a bunch of money. So they call it taco. Trump always chickens out. I think I explained that right. I may not have. But anyway,
I
that is
like it.
why Olivia's wearing the hat.
I
Where's your
like it.
taco hat?
I'm not wearing a fucking taco hat. What do you think I'm gonna stoop to employing gimmicks to get people to watch me?
Oh no, you would never do that.
Doing things like drinking and getting tattooed and
Getting a back
no,
tattoo.
no.
Yeah. I
I'm a
think maybe your next tattoo should be a taco. And
I'm
right
a
there.
serious I'm a serious journalist. You know,
Sure you
I
are.
like it though. I
Yes.
like it.
You're a
I like
serious something, that's for sure. So what do you think of Elon Musk leaving the government, Mike?
it. Don't let the door hit you in the ass.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
I was an Elon hater before it was in style. Um, and I was actually I gotta plug this. I have no affiliation with these guys whatsoever, but there's this pack out there called the FUBAR pack,
Yeah.
and it's a bunch of military vets, but they're raising money to, I guess, buy like a cyber truck, and then they're just going to let people come and beat the shit out of it and destroy it, to raise money for, for freedom loving candidates that they want to support, which I thought is the greatest idea ever. So check it out.
Yeah.
FUBAR, FUBAR pack. It gives me a lot of pleasure every time. And
That Cybertruck is one ugly piece of shit, I have to say. And listen,
There's
I
a
thought
lot
the
of them.
Teslas were cool when they came out. The Tesla cars were cool when they came out 10 years ago, whatever it was. The Cybertruck looks like shit. I'm sorry. It looks like a trash can on wheels, honestly.
I think they all look like shit. They look like little like mobile condoms. I, you know, like I and it just like I can hate them in like with a whole fresh perspective, knowing that Elon Musk is affiliated with that and he's lost all this money with his failed Doge attempt. But mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he can go put his tail between his legs and go back and try to recoup his money and
Oh, and have you
continue to.
seen some of these interviews where he's been going out and saying, "Oh no, that wasn't a Hitler salute on the inauguration." He's doing some major damage control. Olivia and I were talking about how, he's shitting all over the big beautiful bill, which is obviously a ploy to rescue his company. I mean, that's obviously what he's doing.
I mean, the damage is done though. I mean,
Yeah.
Elon Musk will forever be known as that guy. The guy that gave a Hitler salute, the guy that jumped up on the stage and showed his fat belly off, who gets like acts like a child,
Yeah.
and he deserves every bit of it.
He does.
Every single bit of it. So I could, well, I heard Olivia said she doesn't wish ill on people. I wish ill on a lot of people, and fucking Elon Musk is like in the top 25 of those people. So
Oh,
fuck you,
25 is a
Elon.
lot of people, Mike.
Yeah.
We'll have to run through
I
that
got
list sometime.
my list is longer than Ivan Ranklin's deep state fucking list. So
I'm
Longer
definitely
than
on
the
that list.
glossary in Cash Patel's book. Oh, what's that? What's that?
I said I'm definitely on that list, as you know.
oh,
No,
Ivan.
no. Yeah, yeah, that list for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. We both are.
Yeah.
Um, well, guys, since I have you both here, of course, we have the big town hall coming up Monday, June the 2nd at the Lincoln Theater in DC. I'll be there. Mike will be there. Olivia will be there. Harry Dunn's going to be there. Aaron Parnas is going to be there. Tara Sepmeyer and Miles Taylor. I'm so glad Miles Taylor's going to be here. But drum roll, please. We have one other guest to announce. The talented, the wonderful, the great Rosie O'Donnell will also be joining us at the live town hall. She's one of Trump's favorites, so I think that's going to go over well.
Yeah, no, I love this ensemble that we've put together of you know, Trump's potential future dinner guests. Never.
None of us own any of that crappy meme coin. I'll tell you that much. There's just no way. But Rosie's great because I mean, we're going to bring her in live. She's in Ireland, but we're going to bring her in live because she left the country. She was so disgusted with the election. She left the country, and I had her on my podcast on the Substack a little while ago, and she and I have been talking, and she wants to do something again. So she's going to be great. It's going to be so much fun. And what she has some great stories about Trump just giving him all kinds of shit back in the day, and he still hasn't gotten over it. Whenever he is asked about Rosie O'Donnell, you can just see like the veins popping out and the fake raccoon hair on his head stands up, and it's just like Olivia's had basically.
Yeah. No, you speaking of nicknames for Trump, I think one of the better ones that came out recently was that reporter that referred to him as like a whiny titty baby.
Oh, come on.
That that's like that really is Trump to a T. He's just a whiny little
He
baby.
cries. He cries all the time. I
Yeah.
know. I was talking about this with Katie Couric yesterday, and she was saying, yes, there's something more malevolent going on. I totally agree. He's a dictator wannabe. He's a corrupt authoritarian, and so on. But at the heart of it, the core is just a toddler,
Yeah.
like a colicky baby toddler. You
Yeah,
know,
we're witnessing like the most destructive temper tantrum ever thrown in the history of humanity.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
exactly.
yeah.
That's been going
Well,
on for years now.
I want to ask you and Olivia this one, and then we'll let Olivia go because honestly, I don't want to torture her for too long. But
I talk about
we both I want to get you both to comment on this because Kash Patel, I know this is not our favorite subject or not our favorite guy, but Kash Patel is promising what he called a definitive answer to the January 6th riots of 2021. This is according to Mediaite. He was interviewed on Fox News the other night. I should call it Fox, it's not news, by Brett Baer. And he said, people have had questions about January 6th and whether or not there were FBI sources, not agents, sources on the ground during January 6th. And I told you I would get you to the definitive answer to that. And we have. We're in the process again of working with our partners, blah, 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 blah. He's so full of shit, Mike. This whole thing is I've said this a million times. If Trump had just been a man and accepted that he lost the election, there would have been no January 6th. There would have been no attack on the Capitol, all of that stuff. But your thoughts, because it just drives me nuts.
Yeah, no, I mean, first of all, Cash Patel is just a Trump cuck. And so I don't believe anything that comes out of Cash Patel's mouth, even if he's raised his right hand and taken an oath to swear the truth. So I'm skeptical of anything that he has to say. What I imagine, if I was to surmise what he's gonna say is that there were FBI sources there. And I think the follow-up questions need to be asked is that, because law enforcement, I mean, my whole career, that's what I did. I worked with human intelligence.
Yeah.
I worked with sources. And so, one, sources are not allowed to uh, engage in any type of illegal activity. There's no law enforcement agent in this country that can direct someone to break the law outside of like very certain situations, and that's like me directing a source to go buy drugs,
Yeah.
which is probably like the most common. And so, what I would imagine is that there were individuals, because there were a lot of far right extremist groups that were
Yep.
present at the Capitol. So, there were some of these individuals who may have been, at one time or another, sources for the FBI or other law enforcement agencies. The question you have to ask is, were they actively involved in some type of investigation that involved, that required their presence at the Capitol that day? Were they directed by FBI agents to somehow engage in conduct, which I think you'll hear Cash Patel try to spin it that it was, these individuals were provoking the crowd and getting
Yeah.
people to commit these actions. And so those are the questions I think the media needs to ask.
But
And
but
then who?
yeah.
Go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
I was just going to say, and Olivia, feel free to chime in too. But the other thing in all of this is, the Oath Keepers were there, the Proud Boys were there. Are we saying that the FBI sources got the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers to go in there and storm the Capitol, and the guy who was busting open the window with the shield, and the guy I mean, the whole thing, Olivia, right? I mean, it's insane to think
Yeah,
that there was a conspiracy motivating a crowd of thousands of people to do this. And
but
Mike,
I
you can
think,
weigh in first, and then Olivia. Yeah,
yeah, sorry, Olivia, but
yeah,
Part of Cash Patel's job as
yeah,
director of the FBI is to help Trump whitewash and rewrite the history of January 6th. And
exactly.
so, we pardoned all these individuals, and of course, you had Pam Bondi and you had Ed Martin in Washington D.C. at the time, and all these officials at the DOJ saying that this was a miscarriage of justice, and that didn't really sit well with the American people. I think 80% of Americans, or just above 80% of Americans, were against those pardons. But now what you're going to have is you're going to have people like Cash Patel look for small snippets of information that they can pervert to fuel these conspiracy theories, so that
Exactly.
Trump, and it's all about Trump. Trump just wants to feel
That's right.
vindicated in some way, and he'll do his little, oh, this is so egregious, and it's all Joe Biden's fault, and fucking, Christopher Wray, and blah 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 blah. But
Exactly.
it's just bullshit.
Yeah.
We all saw what happened that day.
We all saw what happened.
Yes.
Olivia, your thoughts?
I think, Cash Patel is no stranger to fabricating things, narratives that serve his agenda. I mean, that was the one thing that I was super guarded with him about when I was working with him in the White House. And I think, to see him as head of the FBI continuing to spread propaganda, I guess my biggest concern right now is the fact that he is in a very significant national security role. And I
Yes.
makes me wonder, what is he going to make up along the way and use, like Mike Fanone said, and twist it and distort it out of context for their own, use is what I think is coming. And I
Yeah.
have no doubt that when he's dropping hints like that, I mean, he's prepping the groundwork for it. And I mean, I think this is someone who is, I still believe, is a dangerous individual that shouldn't be in the role that he's in. And this is precisely an example of why a lot of us had concerns in national security and law enforcement. I mean, Mike Fanone raised concerns. A lot of us have raised concerns about having someone like Cash Patel at the helm of the premier law enforcement agency, as they call themselves, and the federal level, right? Because
Yeah.
they have control. And his best friend Pam Bondi is his top cover. So don't forget that.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
Yeah. There's no question about it. This is a propaganda campaign that is going to be rolled out. They're going to try to discredit the stories that were written about January 6th. They're trying to basically discredit reality. They're trying to destroy the truth about what took place that day. And they're going to use the resources of the FBI to try to make that happen. And honestly, to me, this should send chills down the spine of every American in this country. When the FBI is used in this fashion, when the FBI director would not say to the White House, go piss up a flagpole. That is what the FBI director should be saying to the White House instead of saying, "Oh yes, sir, let's go do that. Let's go find some bullshit that we can put out there and go whitewash it on Fox News." And honestly, I think the people over at Fox should be ashamed of themselves if they're going to give any of this the time of day. I mean, this is part of the reason why Tucker Carlson got kicked off of the air at Fox is because he was going around and trafficking in these kinds of January 6th conspiracy theories. But Olivia, great to see you. I'll let you go. I know you're busy, and I'm going to keep talking with Mike here. But we'll keep plugging the town hall too. It's Monday, June the 2nd at the Lincoln Theater. Olivia's going to be there. Mike's going to be there. Rosie O'Donnell's going to be there. So you don't want to miss it. But Olivia, great to see you.
See you all
Good to
later.
see you, Olivia.
Talk to you
Take care.
soon. Talk to you soon. And
Bye.
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 And Mike, is Harry on the line? Should we try to bring in Harry? Because I think he's gonna try. He's around. I think. I don't know. Let's see if he's around.
He's a busy motherfucker.
He is a busy dude. He's here. He's there. He's everywhere. I don't know.
He was
Is
just
he
in
around?
Ukraine.
Is he in Ukraine?
He
Let's just
was.
see what happens. I didn't even clear this with Harry. Who the heck knows what Harry's doing right now? Somebody said he's at a bar. That's not nice to say that, but it might be true. In Kiev or something. But I mean, honestly, Mike, this Cash Patel guy, he's dangerous. That's the issue. He's dangerous.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, listen,
Yeah,
all of these people, regardless of what you think about their mental acuity, they're all incredibly dangerous because they're all in positions of, you know, the most extreme authority in their respective agencies.
yeah,
Um, you know, I mean, the essentially the person who's making the determination as to whether things are lawful or not, that the president of the United States does is Pam Bondi. And Pam Bondi is just saying that she rubber stamps everything that he does, whether it's getting a jumbo jet from a foreign fucking country. I mean, it's just it
it's
really
nuts.
is. It is insane. Yeah.
Yeah, and you and I've talked about this, and the issue that we have this time around versus last time around. The reason why this administration is more dangerous than the last one is because you have hacks and whack jobs and pushovers and all and some and somewhat compromised individuals in some of these roles. And Trump knows he can twist them and manipulate them. And that if it weren't for him, they wouldn't have these jobs. I mean, they absolutely would not have these jobs. I mean, Chris Wray was a serious person at the FBI. Jeff Sessions, you might not like Jeff Sessions, but he recused himself in the Russia investigation. I mean, these are people who said, you know what, if there's a reason for me to recuse, I'm going to recuse. None of these clowns are going to do this. And that's
No.
what's scary about it. They're not going to tell them no.
And there's no moral compass, no integrity, no commitment to the Constitution, to the rule of law, to the principles that this country was founded on. It's all a grift in one way or another. It's
Yeah.
either a money making venture, a quest for power, or some of the more batshit crazy, just true believers in this kind of an insane um, policy. The
Yeah.
What is it? Project 2025.
Project 2025. Absolutely. And the Doge thing was part of this too. Doge was basically carrying out Project 2025. Part of Project 2025 was to, basically obliterate the federal government
Yeah.
and to send all the federal employees running and for their lives. And that's what Elon Musk and his minions, people like Big Balls, whatever that guy's name is, what they did. And now they're being shown the door because, first of all, they were wildly unpopular. Every Republican who has a town hall now, it doesn't matter how red the district is,
Mhm.
when they have a town hall, the people show up and they just light them up. They light them right the hell up. And as they should, because it's not just what they're finding out. It's not just Washington that's affected by this. Governor Polis on from Colorado yesterday. All of these various states have forestry service. They have DHS workers who work in those states and so on. And a lot of these folks are being affected in lots of different ways. But Mike, I want to ask you about the town hall on on Monday because I'm wondering what your message is going to be. We're going to have some other January 6th police officers there that day. People like Harry, Aquilina, Daniel is going to be there, and but a lot of federal workers who are hurting right now. And you grew up in the Northern Virginia area, DC area, like I did, and you must know it hurts to see people suffering like this. These federal workers just absolutely suffering.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
all of them, these career public servants, people who work for the government, these are not industries that you get into to get rich. And
yeah,
Washington D.C. is it's an expensive place to try to raise a family or even just live, by yourself. And so to see them suffering in this way needlessly,
yeah,
but not only losing their employment, but being villainized for simply being career public servants.
yeah.
Um, I mean, it really is disgusting, and I think that it's angered a lot of people in this region.
Yeah, people are furious. I mean, if the Republican Party every 4 years, the Republicans come out, and Trump was one of these guys who thought this. Every 4 years, that they seem to think, oh, we're going to take Virginia in the presidential, and Trump, I think, was trying to take Virginia in the last presidential, and it's just like a joke. It's never going to happen. Virginia used to be kind of a purple state, and actually kind of a red state briefly. And I mean, you have to think from now on, they might as well just kiss that goodbye. That's just not going to happen. Virginia is not going to go red. Forget that. You have completely alienated all of Northern Virginia is just furious right now. And we did see in the 2024 election some of those folks going more Trump, going more Republican. But that's been erased. That's not coming back.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah,
as somebody who's lived in this area or in Virginia for pretty much my entire life, I mean, you've seen the suburban sprawl go from Fairfax County and
yeah.
beyond to now where it's Loudoun County and all of these places that were just the past 10 years were relatively rural areas and voted in a way that was, I think, more traditional for rural voters to
Yeah,
go red is just not that way anymore. And
yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of anger even in communities like that. I mean, where I'm at, which is a very rural area, um, they've had enough. That first 100 days it was like Trump did absolutely everything that he possibly could to piss off some of the people that were his most fervent, supporters.
And I have to think, Mike, because you live out in those parts of Virginia, that you were probably hearing from some folks who were saying they were, going to vote for Trump this time around. You're probably not too happy about that. I kind of wonder what those folks are thinking now, because I mean, I got to think there's a lot of buyer's remorse.
Yeah, I mean, I hear a lot of the conversation, at the local watering hole is, well, he's just, he's another rich asshole acting like a rich asshole. And, I mean, there's not a lot of love for the Democratic Party either.
No, that's
Uh,
true.
but I think that they are starting to sour on or have already soured on Trump.
Yeah. Well, we're going to
People
talk.
that people that aren't in the cult.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly,
yeah,
exactly. I mean, there are folks who are gettable, reasonable folks who are gettable, and they might have said, you know what, Biden's too old, or I don't like Kamala Harris, or I don't like the inflation thing, or gas price, whatever their excuse was, which I don't really put a whole lot of stock into. People voted the way they did. There are the folks who are just the diehard Trump supporters, and you see them going down the highway, Mike. They've got the Trump stickers on the car. They're those folks, and it's always it's always some old guy who, looks like he, had too much fun in the '60s. But it's always somebody who looks like, yeah, that looks like a Trump cult person. Those folks you're not going to be able to deprogram, and those folks are just not going to deprogram for years. But the
Right.
rest of the independent folks out there are a lot of independents out there who drifted towards Trump, and I think they're gone.
I agree. And
Yeah,
while you're talking about Trump bumper stickers, I'm going to do a shameless plug
let's do
for
it.
our town hall. So I have a T-shirt for sale. You can see it on my Substack page, but I've added a couple shirt designs, which I'll
Cool.
be unveiling. But I'm going to give you guys some hints. So we did do some bumper stickers in the traditional MAGA, Trump bumper sticker style. One of them, John Shea, who, if you watch my Substack, I did the 3 hour, BYOB with Fanone and Friends, where I got tattooed by John. Well, he
Yep.
designed one that's designed two actually. One is Deport MAGA supporters, which I think is great, and the other one is I'd rather take a dump in my pants, which was based off of Trump Vance or Trump Pence really. But two bumper stickers you can show your absolute disgust with Donald Trump, and I hope that I sell all 1,000 of each that I ordered, and then
Excellent.
we start seeing them all over Washington D.C.
I love it. Yeah. Maybe on some Teslas out there that they'll work perfectly on the back of a Tesla, on the back of a Cybertruck. Just wallpaper
Right,
the back of that Cybertruck
right,
with those things.
right on Elon Musk's forehead.
Just make sure, yeah, and make sure the Tesla is one that you own and not don't vandalize other people's cars. I don't want to come across like that.
I, I don't think that's vandalism. I think that's beautification.
Oh man. Well, from a legal standpoint, I will laugh at what you're saying and I will say, Mike, I know you're just kidding. But
Exactly. I'm just kidding. That's what I like about you, Jim, is that you're like the guy that reads the fine print after I'm done talking. Uh,
basically,
my
yes.
my lawyer Chris is a huge fan of yours,
Oh man,
for all of those reasons.
I appreciate
So
that.
yes, thank you
Yes.
for. We don't condone violence, and
No,
you shouldn't put stickers on things that aren't yours.
that's right. That's
And
right. Please drive the
all the
speed
other
limit.
right,
Yeah. Wear a helmet if you're on a motorcycle. Yeah, the views expressed by Michael Fanone are not necessarily those of the Jim Acosta show or whatever the disclaimer is. Man, it's gonna be great to see you on Monday night. I can't wait for this. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna light it up. We're gonna send a message down 14th Street or 16th Street, whatever it is, right to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And the folks are gonna love to hear from you. I know that for a fact because you always bring it, man.
I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to
All right.
see everybody there.
All right, make sure you get your tickets. They're going fast at the Lincoln Theater, June 2nd, Monday, right here in Washington, D.C. And you can just go to the Lincoln Theater website. It's right there. Easily click on it, takes you right to the Ticketmaster thing. You can pick that up and no problem about it. The other thing, too, I want to mention is if you go on my Instagram and like, I think my most recent one, although I might have to update it because we've got the Rosie O'Donnell ad, you're going to have a chance to win some free tickets. So if you're in the DC area, you want to try to win some free tickets, go in there, like one of these things right here, and you'll get some free tickets. Mike, great to see you, man. See you on Monday.
All right, buddy. Take care.
All right, thanks a lot. Really
See
appreciate
you.
it. For folks who are just tuning in now and missed the beginning of the show, they missed Olivia Troye in a taco hat, which I have asked Olivia Troye, I will pay her good money if Olivia Troye will wear the taco hat once again at our live town hall Monday, June the 2nd, right here in Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, at the Lincoln Theater. You're not going to want to miss this. As I was announcing earlier in the previous edition of this Thursday show, Rosie O'Donnell, right here, my friend, the lovely, the talented, the wonderful, the hilarious Rosie O'Donnell. You know her from all the movies and TV shows, A League of Their Own, everything over the years. She's amazing. For some reason, Trump doesn't like her very much because she's gotten his goat so many times. That's how it goes. And so maybe Rosie will be eating some tacos. We'll see. She's in Ireland, so maybe that won't be the case. Maybe it'll be some fish and chips or bangers and mash or something like that. But love that Rosie's going to be joining us as well. It's going to be a great lineup. Mike Fanone, Olivia Troye, Harry Dunn, Aaron Parnas, Tara Setmyers, and Miles Hale. I don't know how much of what everybody saw there towards the very end, but Mike and I were talking. We were talking about what a joke Elon Musk is. We were talking about what a joke Cash Patel is. And then my feed went out. So I don't know. Maybe they're, these guys, they're hot on my tail. I don't know what to tell you. They seem to find me from time to time, if you know what I mean. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it. But speaking of the media, I did want to mention because I did want to end on yeah, Starlink. Somebody is mentioning Starlink. It's possible Starlink. I mean, I'm literally right under my Wi-Fi. I will say to everybody, I'm literally right under my Wi-Fi. Duke had nothing to do with it. He has been so good lately. The regular viewers of the Jim Acosta Show will be able to tell you that Duke, the Wonder Rescue Beagle that I have had the pleasure of owning for a few years now. Wow. He is so good now. He takes these little naps. He knows that I'm going to be yakking into my phone for an hour and a half or whatever it is. And so he just curls up on the sofa and goes right to sleep. It was a thing for our loyal viewers who know this. It was a thing where he would bring his toys over during the show, and I would try to play fetch with him. And he's like, ah, screw this. I'd rather have dad's undivided attention. And so, but just like the hamsters, he's ready for Thursday evening to get going. Friday Eve, Taco Thursday. I might have some tacos tonight. But the thing about Olivia's hat when she was wearing the taco hat is it was, and for the folks who missed it at the top of the show, and I don't know if folks agree with me on this, the hard shell ground beef taco, I would argue, and this is a hill I'm willing to die on, the hard shell ground beef taco is the best taco. And I know I'm driving my friends south of the border nuts. I know I'm driving my friends in Texas nuts. By the way, I'm going to be in Texas this weekend. I'm speaking at an event tomorrow evening. And I love street tacos. Don't get me wrong. I love those. But damn, those grocery store hard shell tacos with the ground beef. I'm sorry. There's something about it. Maybe it's because I feel like a little kid again with lots of cheese. I see that, yes. Refried beans. I like the refried beans on the side, quite frankly, if I put them in the hard shell taco. Because you remember, if you load up that hard shell taco too much, the whole thing is going to fall apart. Remember, there were those taco ads back in the day. What were those ads? Was it Old El Paso? You want a taco to taste good in your mouth, not on your shirt. Was that what that story? That was that. I think that was the ad back in the day. And anyway, I should have brought some. You know what? Idea for tomorrow. Maybe I'll have some tacos for tomorrow, or at least Monday. We'll have some tacos for Monday because the taco thing is just it's delicious. Let's just say that it is just absolutely delicious. The one thing that is not delicious though, and I was mentioning this at the very end of the show, the previous show that was abruptly ended by Elon Musk and Starlink. Um, this Wall Street Journal article on Trump versus CBS. I can't, this is I don't want to infuriate everybody at the end of the show, so I'll try to tell some jokes before I let everybody go. But apparently, Paramount Global, the parent company of CBS, in recent days, this is according to the Wall Street Journal, has offered $15 million to settle Trump's bullshit lawsuit against CBS. This is according to people familiar with the situation talking to the Wall Street Journal. Trump's team apparently wants more than $25 million. They're also seeking an apology from CBS News. They've threatened another lawsuit against CBS related to alleged bias in their news coverage, which of course means the people at CBS reported things accurately and fairly, and it infuriated him. And he blows a gasket. His hair, the raccoon hair that was stapled onto his head starts to fly around, and he's pissed off about it. And I just want to say, and I was talking about this with Katie Couric yesterday, and I said, he's a toddler, and she says, well, there's something more malevolent going on. I agree. There's no question about it. He's a corrupt authoritarian. The problem that I have with all of this is that he is obviously a child. He's a man child. He deep down is a broken human being. And somebody just put in the comments, CBS needs to strap on a set. Absolutely. Absolutely. And keep in mind, folks, I used to work at CBS News a gazillion years ago. The people at CBS News are wonderful people. It's not the people at CBS News causing this. The head of CBS News resigned in protest over this. It is the people at this parent company. And the people at this parent company need to understand what they're doing to America. What they're doing to America by offering $15 million to Donald Trump to settle his bullshit lawsuit. You are hurting America. Sherry Redstone, the people there who are in the midst of these negotiations. You need to understand, You are doing damage to this country. If you settle this lawsuit and you give him what he wants, which is $25 million dollars and an apology, I am very afraid that that will be the end of 60 Minutes, that that will be the end of CBS. I feel very strongly that my friends at CBS and at 60 Minutes will not tolerate this. You saw the comments offered by Scott Pelley at Wake Forest last weekend. He was spot on. He was absolutely right to say that. And uh, I know Scott Pelley. I worked with him many years ago when I worked at CBS. Scott Pelley is a real journalist. He is a Walter Cronkite, Dan Rather style journalist. And when he says something like that, it means something. It means something because he's a serious newsman. And I know, Scott, he would never, ever say what he said unless the situation were that serious and critical over at CBS. So that's why I posted on my socials that I was very proud of him. Not that he needs to hear that from me, but the people at Paramount need to understand, and this is the same thing that goes for the folks, parent company of ABC, anybody thinking about bending the knee in this country, anybody thinking about bending the knee to this toddler in chief, they need to understand they are damaging America. You are hurting this country. Why do I say that? Because look at what took place. Look what was reported in the Wall Street Journal story. They offered $15 million. I'm trying not to use as many f bombs. This is one of my resolutions. They they offered him 15 effing million dollars, and he said, "No, that's not enough. I want 25 million." Do you understand the lesson that should be learned there? The lesson that should be learned there is that as you uh, prostrate yourselves, humiliate yourselves, and embarrass yourselves, it's not enough. It's not enough for him. It will never be enough. It will always be the case that he is going to want to hurt the press in this country. Please understand this coming from me. When he calls the press the enemy of the people, when he calls the press fake news, this has been going on for 8 or 9 years now. I remember being at those rallies back in 2016 when he would call us the disgusting news media, the dishonest news media, liars, scum, villains, criminals. He called us that in 2016 on the campaign trail, to the extent that his supporters, his diehard supporters, would come up to us in the press. I wrote about this in my book. Would come up to us in the press and call us traitors and everything under the sun. And then Trump gets into office in 2017, refers to the press as the enemy of the people, calls the press fake news. And what that does is it animates and instigates his people to carry out acts of violence against other Americans. And it needs to stop. He took away my press pass. Obviously, people understand that. We were able to get it back. And now in this new administration, they've become even more dangerous. They are taking away press pass, or not necessarily taking away press pass, but they're kicking whole news organizations out of the Oval Office. People like the Associated Press, kicking them off of Air Force One. That's what took place with the Associated Press. They're now trying to pick and choose who's in the White House press pool that's allowed to go into the Oval Office. And even still, even with that cockamamie system that they have, a reporter from CNBC goes in there yesterday and asks about this taco thing that Trump always chickens out. And it's true. That has been the case. That is the real world. That is what has been happening since he came back into office when it comes to tariffs. He chickens out. He raises tariffs and then he backs down. So the traders on Wall Street came up with this idea. Oh, when they do this, I'm going to buy stock when the stock goes down because he's putting tariffs on countries. And when he chickens out, the stock will go up and I'll make a bunch of money. Trump did not like being asked about this, and he went off on the reporter and called the reporter nasty and everything else. It's a great question. You have to ask that question. If you're in the Oval Office, you have to ask that question. He's the president. That's what we do. But it speaks to who he is as a human being. And who he is as a human being is he is a damaged person. He is damaged goods. Crying, being a child, can't take it, can't take the heat, can't take being president of the United States. And this is what I said before he was reelected again. He cannot handle being president of the United States, which is why he is holding these companies over a barrel, which is why he's holding these law firms over a barrel. And so I don't know, if the folks here who are watching me right now, who watch this on social media later, if they want to try and find the phone number to Paramount and light up that switchboard, light up that goddamn switchboard over at Paramount and say that you should not bend the knee. You should not bow down to the dictator. This is the United States of America, and we don't bow down to dictators. We don't bend the knee to tyrants. And so I'm asking my viewers, people who watch this podcast, people who watch this Substack, to please call Paramount. Please call Paramount or call CBS and say, do not pay that money. Do not pay that ransom money, Paramount. Don't pay it. And I just think that it is incumbent upon all Americans in this moment to follow the lead of people like Scott Pelley and so many others in the press who have been trying to stand firm. They've been trying to stand firm. This is what we need right now. We need a passionate, nonviolent revolt against this bending the knee bullshit. It's time for it to stop. So please, it's time to end the shakedown. It's time to end the intimidation racket. We're not going to be ruled over by a bunch of goddamn mob bosses in this country. It's time for it to stop. And so I ask for the folks there who are watching this, do not back down. Call these people and say, do not pay this money. Do not pay off Trump. If you pay off Trump, there should be consequences. Cancel your Paramount Plus subscription. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm sure whatever the Kevin Costner show is, Yellowstone's a great show. Cancel. Cancel it. Cancel your subscriptions. And some of our viewers are putting up these numbers now. It is time for the American people to stand up to this. We've had enough of this. We've had 150 days of bullshit and people talking about Joe Biden and everything else. Baloney. It's bullshit. The man in the Oval Office is the issue, and he is trying to shake down these media companies, just like he's trying to shake down these law firms and shake down everybody else to get them to bend the knee, because he's that psychologically damaged as a person. He is that crushed inside as a human that he cannot handle this stuff. And it is time for it to stop. It is time for it to stop. And I should note, I'm not a psychiatrist. I can't clinically diagnose anybody. I'm speaking in a colloquial way. But it needs to stop. It absolutely needs to stop. This is not a country. And this is why I'm having this town hall Monday, June the 2nd at the Lincoln Theater here in Washington, D.C. We're tired of being afraid. We're tired of people using scare tactics to get what they want. What is this teaching future generations of leaders in this country? That if you act like a dictator, a more clever dictator will just come along, folks. We need to nip this in the bud. We absolutely need to nip this in the bud. We need to stand up for our friends in the press. I've been saying this for a long time. And it's time for the mob intimidation racket to stop for once and for all. So, not to get everybody fired up at the end of this show, but I did want to leave everybody with that thought that it is time to speak out. It is time to tell the people at Paramount, do not pay that money. Do not pay that money. You may think, oh, it's just a drop in a bucket. This is the price of doing business. Gosh, Jim, what's the big deal? This is just sofa cushion money for us over here at Paramount. All this Yellowstone money we've been making, we just put that in a bag and hand it to the dictator. No, this is the United States. Why are we doing that in this country? Honestly, I ask the question, why are we doing that in this country? It is time for it to stop. It's an extortion racket and it's bribe money. If you pay this money in order to get a business deal through in this country, that is a quid pro quo. That is a quid pro quo. And that is the definition of bribery. And it is time for the American people to insist that we're better than this, that we're not going to, we're not going to be treated like a bunch of subjects to a king who is absolutely out of control. He's absolutely out of control. And he needs to understand in the United States of America, in this country, it is the expectation that there will be a free press, a strong, free, independent press. And that's what I'm going to keep fighting for here. That's why all of you are here. We are going to fight this battle together, and we're not going to back down. And this is my last warning. This is my final warning. Do not pay that money. Do not pay that money, or this is not the last you will hear from me. This is definitely not the last you will hear from me. I will say this over and over again. ABC paid that money. That was a huge mistake. If CBS does it, if Paramount does it, I will talk about this nonstop. It needs to stop. It needs to stop. Still reporting from Washington, I'm Jim Acosta. Have a good night, everybody.